You got it.
Good evening, Rick. Would you believe it's Dr. Doom?
What's on your evil mind?
Hold your insulting tongue and mark my words well.
How about this rumor that you are really hired, Mr. Stark?
And welcome to another exciting episode of the KLIQ Nation's Comic Book Chronicles. I'm your host, Tim D-O-double-G. And the man behind the sound effects is at Agent_70 on Twitter.
What's up, everybody?
And we also have at RowdyCat on Twitter. I can't hear you though.
They're drowning you out, Roddy.
Check your audio, Rowdy. We can't hear you.
The crowd completely drowned him out. Oh no!
That was me not pressing the mute button.
That'll do it.
Yeah, that'll do it.
There you go.
And with that, we are the Comic Book Chronicles. You can go to our website, thekliqnation.com, where you can find previous episodes of the Comic Book Chronicles and comic book news. On the homepage are links to our social media accounts. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Google+. Make sure to subscribe to the Comic Book Chronicles podcast by going to iTunes, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, Google Play. And remember, we are a part of the Cold Slither Podcast Network. So go to cspn.us. Do it today.
Do it today.
And while you're there, buy some Comic Book Chronicles merchandise by going to shop.cspn.us. Remember, we record live every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can watch live by going to thekliqnation.com/live. And you can always join in the conversation by using the hashtags Comic Book Chronicles and CBChron. So we have a lot to get to tonight. We have movies and TV shows to talk about, and of course, comics. So up first for our comic book review is going to be Champions number 14.
There it is. It's a part 4 of the Worlds Collide crossover between Champions and Avengers.
As I get the cover up here, at least work to get the covers up. So an Avenger, whatever high number, 600 numbered issue of Avengers from, I think, 2 weeks ago. There was a big change for Vision at the hands of the High Evolutionary, a villain I never cared about.
And a villain who I never thought had this kind of capability, let's be honest.
Well, he's always been sort of a, I guess,
like
Mr. Sinister before Mr. Sinister came along.
Right.
For X-Men fans. Oh, and it looks like these are current covers that PCN_Dirt has in here. So I don't know if I see Champions though. Anyway, so there wasn't too much that really happened in this issue aside from the new transformation for Vivian and the Avengers making their way to Counter Earth and trying to stop High Evolutionary's master plan of colliding Earth and Counter Earth to sort of reset global
Well, kind of restarting from scratch.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the wording for it, where you
Basically trying to cause another big bang so it can
yeah,
start.
Big Bang to reset humanity.
Right. So like that's the big reveal, sort of. And well, I guess one of the big reveals in this issue is that it's not so much that that the high evolution is trying to phase them to get oh, Matt Wang, you're killing me, man. So shout out to at Matt Wang 97, who I actually saw in person post post additions to the family on Wednesday night. So we can get into that in a second. But uh well, with regards to this issue, we find out that it's not just like phasing them together, kind of like a crisis, or even the way they did it. I guess at the beginning of Infinity, or at some point during just before Secret Wars, if I recall correctly. It's more right. It's more literal, like crash bang. Let's start from scratch. Let's destroy both.
Which still doesn't let it off the hook that it seems like it's doing the Infinity thing, but whatever. Yeah, I mean, and don't let guess the only other reveal, which kind of claims that there's probably somebody else somewhere along the lines, because High Evolutionary mentions he didn't want to see him again.
Right, like another boss level.
So, huh?
Another boss level.
Yeah, so that's what it seems like. Even though this this mini event is coming to an end in a couple of issues. Apparently, a tragic conclusion, as the end page says. Whatever that might be. And yeah, they really don't think the only other thing I was going to say is they really didn't, which I guess there was no reason to, but they didn't give that much time to the whole, hey, Viv is human thing.
Right, because they're still in the middle of of an active mission. They don't. I don't think.
Yeah, but they would. I mean, yeah, but they took the time to almost have a talk. When this event during the course of this, so it's not like they're above.
Yeah.
For whatever odd reason, they just chose not to. Because not that they needed to, but they didn't explain why. Well, it didn't go through any great lengths as the reason why he did it, or why he chose to he basically make her a young black girl. Like I said, not the saying that they needed to, but them like, okay, that was that was a choice.
Yeah, it was definitely a sort of unexpected development of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, she makes it out of Worlds Collide alive, so we can see it followed up on.
Right. Yeah, like I'd like to believe that they're going to bring this up or address her sudden humanity in some kind of way outside of the little blurb in the one panel. But we will see.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny that was the experiment or the procedure that the High Evolutionary moved forward with first, and not, I guess, not to kind of go over a retread story of giving Falcon actual Falcon powers. Like, wait, we saw that already with another lesser scientist, so I guess they didn't want to go over that retread story and just jump straight to Viv,
which is good.
Yeah, no, that's the truth. Because I was thinking that too. It's like, oh, not again. And then they got there, and spoiler alert. Where's my bell here? They don't actually go through with the the avian crossing. So,
right, which wouldn't. So silly. Which wouldn't have been the place would have been a weird place to do that in anyway.
Sure. All right. Anything else on this issue?
I don't think so.
No, not really. There was nothing,
Yeah, it was just kind of like another intermediate step issue. We get the big reveal on the plan, so now we know what the literal earth-shattering plan is.
Right. As someone would say, an earth-shattering kaboom.
Yeah.
Actually, which actually brings up something which comes up before we hit this off. Okay, so this is a big world-changing event, and I know this happens a lot, and there's explanations on mine, but where was everybody else?
Didn't they show everybody else at some point, just like in passing?
No,
Who's
I don't-
everyone else?
Like all the other heroes.
like other heroes. Like, you know, every time there's a story like that's in New York and it just so happens to be centered around one group, I'm like, where are these other groups? And I hate to be the person to bring that up like that, but it is kind of crazy. I'm like, wait a minute, this happens to the whole Earth, and you mean to tell me the only
The rest of them are busy fighting other battles.
Sure. But usually something big is, oh, I don't know, the Earth is changing and shifting into another one, and you know, you would think that would bring out a whole bunch of people. But again, I don't know.
That's just a Tuesday in the Marvel universe.
Oh,
that has always been funny that when that happens. But you know, like I said, I have come up with the same excuses as you did or whatnot. I was like, well, they're off doing other stuff, even if they decided to address it, which they've rarely done. It's just kind of funny that happens.
sure. All right. All right. Tell us, President
What's
Bartlett.
next?
Thank you.
Oh, so much to get to next. Looking at your list, you want to do Doctor Strange 381?
Sure. Sure. Anyone else read it? Did you read it?
I read it.
Before the
Oh.
show. So
Nice, nice. So this is the first Doctor Strange issue of Marvel Legacy, and it is quite a doozy in that it's a instant status quo change. It's it's basically spoiled right there on the cover, but the gist of it is, and I'm going to ring the spoiler bell because if you don't see the cover, if you're just listening to this on the through a podcast feed, it will help to not be spoiled. But Loki has been appointed or has won the spot of being the new Sorcerer Supreme for this dimension.
some kind of way.
Right.
And apparently something has happened to, or something happened, or something went down with Doctor Strange,
Right.
because apparently it's in the papers and on Twitter.
Right.
According to Zalma. So apparently we will find out what in the world that is at some point.
Right. And he's literally become a form of Dr. Doolittle.
Yeah.
That was a great reveal. So.
And they make sure to tell us a little bit of how the transition of power happened, but still leave you wondering more.
Sure. We're asking for more, and we're also dealing with the new status quo for one Zelma, who is, I guess at this point, as far as we know, a willing participant in the succession of power.
Yes.
Because we find out that, again, I'm going to ring the spoiler bell. Zelma's actually the current assistant for Loki, who is the Sorcerer Supreme. And she's actually, involved.
We also have the same creative team, at least the artistic side of the creative team from Division here, with Gabrielle Walter and Jordi Belair.
Yes, it's a nice combination for this title.
And Loki thinks he can not follow the rules of magic, where everything has a price or comes with a price.
Right. That's something that Aaron had tried to really establish in the previous run, that there was always a price to be paid for magic. And it's interesting to see that for the longest time, other than like, I guess, a few spells and a few sort of like like maybe even vampire related incantations, there really wasn't a kind of price for performing magic in the Marvel universe. And now Donny Cates. It's Donny Cates, right? Former guest of the Comic Book Chronicles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is the new writer on Doctor Strange has decided to take what Aaron had tried to establish and put it on its head, and we'll see how that goes.
I'm weirdly thinking back to the Agent of Asgard series from a while back.
Sure.
In that this is a Loki trying to be something different than what he has always built to be for some reason, and I guess we will find out what the end game here is for this one, if there is one.
Right. There always is one. It's just a very interesting, it'll be interesting to see how they set up the long game in this, because I really hope this isn't resolved in like 3 issues.
Well, that's also assuming there is a long game for this one, because I feel like this could very well be a 6-issue arc and keep it pushing for some reason.
It's probably definitely got you'd imagine it has to tie into Loki looking for the Infinity Stones himself in Marvel Legacy #1.
That's right.
You would like to think so.
Yes. Like to think so.
And
Interesting. Good point.
It would be the case, yeah.
Good point. I totally forgot about that.
So, again, remains to be seen where that leads.
Sure.
Or it could very well be, on the other side of that, this could very well be has nothing to do with that, because they have done that at times.
Right. Kate's Kate's definitely has picked up a lot of maybe not a thread, but some of the trappings of Aaron's previous run, including the Magician's Bar, the bar with no doors, that's the exclusive enchanted watering hole for the mystic and magical. No, that makes a reappearance. So it has
shown up. It has shown up at times though, so it's not like it was gone.
Right. What I was going to say, at least it's a fairly seamless transfer. And we also get a guest appearance by one. I like this actually. This interaction between this incarnation of Loki and the current Thor, and there's actually a cool little sequence in there where you think what happens is actually happening, and then you get to the panel where it's revealed, yeah, it did happen. So I like that. That was well played. That was me consciously not spoiling what what's happening in the book. That means you need to go out and read it.
Yeah, it seems to be setting up a pretty good arc for definitely. So, especially if you are into the magical side of the Marvel U.
Well, the best part is, I think, as long as they play up the characters, and I like that. It even is sort of because of the art. Walter's art does kind of remind me a little bit of what the Vision looked like, and I felt, especially during the final scenes, that it felt like we were going to be diving a little bit deeper into Stephen Strange and his character. Like, I guess that part will play similar to the Vision's character study in his limited series.
So that's Doctor Strange 381.
Yes, a good start in this Marvel Legacy launch.
Yeah, I'd agree so. You won't hear me complain about too many books on my list for tonight.
What would the next one be?
Guardians of the Galaxy 147.
All right.
So Star-Lord finds out that Richard Rider is alive.
He's basically the last to know.
Greets him with a nice big punch to the face.
That's right, because he's the last to know.
Ant-Man displays his growing giant man abilities to Gamora.
Well, he did pull their butts out of the fire with that one.
Yeah, then passed out.
that's the Marvel Cinematic Universe coming into play right there. I'm the boss. I'm the boss. I'm the boss. That's all I kept hearing when he was going through this sequence.
And Rocket or Richard Rider, Nova, and Star-Lord investigated some rogue Novas that had gone off the grid.
Right. They basically went AWOL. And
we found out it was for a good reason.
Yes. Yes.
As they reveal to the two heroes why they have cut off communications and what it is that they're storing or protecting or hiding, however you want to look at it.
Right, right. And I'll ring the spoiler bell because we may make a reference or two to it.
And it is an Infinity Stone.
Yes.
The Power Stone, in fact. Except it's not a stone. It's a big, massive hunk of rock.
Yeah, it's it's hard to even describe. It's like it's a mountain. You know, it's not something you're gonna put on a gauntlet.
Indeed, it is.
So,
and I liked
some of it off. You know,
maybe in the news there's probably a link to it, but Jerry Duggan gave an interview with IGN where he explained what's happening or what's happened with the stones and why this one is the size that it is. And it basically comes down to back in Jonathan Hickman's New Avengers, the stones shattered all except for the Time Stone and were lost. But since the universe was reset following Secret Wars, these stones are back to their factory reset. So they weren't, I guess basically what he's trying to say is they all didn't come in a small gem/stone form. They had to have been chiseled, or at least in the Power Stone's case, it was chiseled and a piece was made into a stone. But they all have, basically we'll have to wait to see how each of them are introduced or reintroduced to see what form their factory reset value really is.
Okay.
Well, so I'm not sure if I didn't pull that one, but I remember seeing an article, which I don't think I pulled. I hope that I have saved. Because we do know where one of them is. Like, we know the spoiler alert, the
one with Wolverine.
Yeah,
Wolverine down. But there was an article I saw
weeks ago, so it's kind of hard to remember.
Oh yeah, also they're changing the colors of them again. So the Power Stone is purple, which I guess matches the color in the MCU, because that was one in Guardians.
Which is what I was going to bring up, because apparently that sounds like what they're doing with these is and putting them in items or making them other items than actual just stones, as they previously were.
Well, wasn't the Power Stone? I guess maybe the Power Stone was pink, not purple. Before my points of reference is actually the Marvel versus Capcom game, or the Marvel superheroes game. So
it never usually gets. That doesn't always get the.
No, but I think the colors of the gems were right. Were correct.
I'm not sure.
No, you have to go back to Marvel versus the Marvel superheroes fighting game. So
okay, I was going to ask a question about Guardians, but I just got my answer about it, so never mind. But this is not the last issue.
Last issue what?
Of Guardians.
Oh no,
they got a few issues.
There's many more issues to go.
They cancel. Well, we'll get to that then.
To Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah.
They're not canceling
it. Yes, they are.
They canceled. They I know what you're talking about. That issue 151.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just resolicited. They took it. It's not canceled I saw someone explaining it. When the issue's pulled, it's not canceled. It's just rescheduled on the publishing calendar.
Yeah, but they hadn't done it yet. So
yeah.
All right. So what's next?
Let's jump to DC for a moment.
All right.
Super Sons number 10.
I actually read it this week.
Super Sons.
I read this based on Tim Dog 98's, and I believe Roddy Cat has read a few issues too, based on their recommendations.
I have not.
Oh no, I could have sworn that it was both of you that had been reading this. So
I had intention to give it a shot, but I haven't done it yet. So
understood. So I actually did read this issue, based on Tim Dog 98's glowing reviews week after week, and it's fair to say that there's definitely a high level of entertainment value in this, because there's lots of interaction between Superboy and Robin, and at least in this issue, Batman and Superman.
And the Super Sons get a hideout, so to speak.
Right. After we have a little bit of a reveal that Superboy is quickly surpassing the rate at which Clark Kent had discovered his powers.
much like Gohan to Goku.
There you go. So, with that being said, we have, a little bit of shared, we were talking earlier about how it's cool that they're developing, I guess it's a tiny corner of the universe that's not even the Teen Titans stuff. It's really, Superboy and Robin, because they're seemingly the central characters and not just their own shared title, but I guess in one of the Titans books. And there is a reference in this to one of the Titans books. It's a direct reference to something that had happened recently. So there's more interplay between the two books because of the two lead characters. And they might be, one might be required reading for the other at some point.
You talking about the intermission?
Well, oh no, that I haven't gotten to that yet. I was just, they were referencing something with the Teen Titans right at the beginning, talking about a new power that Jonathan Kent had acquired or discovered. I don't know if you caught that.
Mm-mm.
Oh, all right. So, that, like I was saying earlier, they may be moving towards a point where one or the other is required reading to get, the full story on these two characters.
Okay.
Oh, and the intermission, yeah. Now I'm starting to. I was just skimming through this. There is an interesting intermission in here. It involves a future version of one of these two characters,
and it's sort of teases the next story arc that starts next issue. Super Sons of Tomorrow.
That's right.
Oh, and also they're going to be going to the same school.
Yes, in the same city, which is
no more. I can't say that Damien was homeschooled, because we don't even know if he was homeschooled.
Well, I think that's what that's what they were saying, that Alfred had run out of I guess subjects to teach him at Wayne Manor, so it was time for Damien to head to school.
AKA man out of patience.
That's right.
I was about to say, is it Gotham Academy by chance?
No.
That would have been interesting.
Exactly. I don't know whatever happened to Gotham Academy. I dropped the book a while back and I just stopped reading it. But spoiler alert. Interestingly enough, Roddy, they're actually both going to be at a Metropolis-based school.
Huh. Okay.
I thought that was an interesting twist. There's a Tomasi, right? Tomasi's writing this?
Yes.
I thought that was a nice twist. I was surprised by that too.
He's knocking it out of the park too.
All righty. And I also like the fact that I feel like he's got Damien's voice down because every time he says "I hate you," I definitely feel where Damien's coming from. So
I like his deadpan humor.
sure. All right. So do you want to do some more DC?
Let's do the Batman Who Laughs.
All righty. So this is the final Dark Knights one shot that's discussing the multiverse, the evil multiverse Batman. If I'm not mistaken, this is the last one.
It is.
And this is the origin story of the Batman Who Laughs. And I'm going to ring the spoiler bell because we were just talking about how this particular version of Batman got to be the way he is. So ultimately, it does make sense in terms of how this particular version of Batman became the Batman Who Laughs, and obviously involves the Joker and uh, the Joker basically pushing Batman to a point of no return.
Which then sets off a chemical change in Batman.
Right. And we're not spoiling exactly what happens. You should read it.
A last parting gift from the Joker.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. I think that's how they put it in the book. It's the last parting gift, and a means of ensuring that there will always be a Joker. So once that happens, everything goes to hell, which is pretty much, what would happen if you put that kind of maniacal, that level of insanity in the calculating brain of Batman.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing to think about what if Batman went bad, but it's another thing if he went bad this particular way.
Basically doesn't end up in a good spot.
Correct.
Which begs me to ask the question is, how is this different from the Batman White Knight book outside of setting and whatnot?
Because both characters are still alive
In that one, right. In that one, their roles are just reversed. In this one, there is a twist to how we get to how Batman becomes this version.
Good way of explaining it.
So,
and he's definitely more of a pioneer as far as we know. He's the one going around recruiting all these other Dark Knights for Barbatos.
Right. And we also discovered that it's not just dark versions of Batman that exist out there. It only makes sense that there would be dark versions of every hero out there.
And what I want to know is who is the person bandaged up who we can't see their identity.
I was going to ask you. I wasn't sure. I thought maybe that was someone who had been revealed earlier in the series, or earlier in the Dark Knight's Metal crossover.
We don't know.
Oh, all right. You guys got me because I haven't been reading these one shots that carefully. So I've been going. I shout out to PCN_Dirt who recommended against reading. I think it was the Aquaman variant of Batman.
Nothing really happened there.
Yeah, and I believe there might have been one or two others that, based on his recommendation, I just sort of stayed away from. So I've only read a few of these evil multiverse Batman origin stories, but I like this one, even though I kind of skimmed. It was a little on the verbose side. The Batman Who Laughs likes to talk, so there's a lot of words that's spitting out in this.
I feel like he's gonna stick around after this is all over because he's too good of a character to let go.
That's not a bad point. I think that's valid. Unfortunately, he would end up being a lot like Hydra Cap, but we'll see. All right. Do you want to finish up the Batman?
Ask real quick. Isn't this like a whole universe? Is like a whole dark universe?
Yeah, with different planets or worlds in it.
Yeah,
They all don't come from the same dark world.
gotcha.
But yeah, we can finish up with Batman 35.
Yeah, let's do that. So big ring of the spoiler bell, because it's kind of hard to talk about this issue without spoiling it at least a bit. So if you've been following along, this is bi-weekly now, right? If I'm not mistaken, the Batman book.
It's been bi-weekly since Rebirth started.
Right, that's what I remembered. So, because it's been bi-weekly, this story has been moving along at a pretty crisp pace, and we find the two folks on the cover, Selena Kyle and Talia al Ghul, facing off against each other. Not necessarily for the love of one Batman, aka Bruce Wayne, but for over a third party who is involved in the story. And we also find out that surprisingly, Selena Kyle is a pretty adept swords person. I was surprised to see it.
And as someone said, or I saw someone come up with the headline, Catwoman explains how something along the lines of explains how falling for Batman is stupid.
Yeah,
but she's okay with it.
Pretty much. I thought that was one of the best lines in the book, because there is no explaining it. It's just stupid.
And then we got more bonding with Damian and Dick Grayson.
Sure.
And then Damian asking his father a simple question: "Are you happy?"
And the response is perfect. And I think it should be the response that everyone gives when someone asks, "Are you happy?" It's a great response.
Yes.
So, we get to a point where the duel kind of reaches a pretty exact. Exact's not the word, but it's an outcome that's that's definite. We definitely have a victor in this. There is no draw. We actually do get a victor in this face off. So
I like the aftermath where Catwoman tells Damian, "I stabbed your mom."
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, the more things change.
Yeah. Using Damian as kind of a source for comedy. Like you said, his dry humor. And, it makes him a useful character for these Batman writers.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty. So, Roddy, you got something to throw out there in DC?
Actually, I do. Trinity. While I was busy doing something completely different.
I know that. I don't think.
They did.
Do you have any other DC to cover? Because I don't think I've got it.
Yeah,
I do not.
I don't know what I got. I don't. Did you read this, Tim?
No, I've fallen way behind Trinity.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately.
So real quick, this is the end of the Pandora Pit cycle, or arc, I should say. Cersei's plan seemingly was doing all right until they counted out Batman, which you would never do because he has a plan, and he spent half the issue slightly explaining it, which was basically, hey, he did this one thing and he did this one thing again to folks. So now we've got this big battle with between Cersei and all these heroes, which ends in a certain way, and no one dies, but weirdly enough, somebody gets thrown into a pit. A couple of people get thrown into a pit and yet somehow make it out unscathed. Somehow.
Okay.
Exacts a little bit of a revenge, or seemingly tries to exact some sort of revenge, but escapes in the quote unquote aftermath, which is not much of an aftermath. Just pop somebody in the pit and then rolled out. But so yeah, like I said, never count Batman out. He pretty much ends up saving everybody else, who ends up saving the day. No one dies. But the weirdly thing is like they ended with the issue as an action was being placed. Not to spoil what happens. We got to kind of did, but you still don't know what actually happens. But it's this is about as clean as this arc was going to get, I guess. I don't know. So I don't know. Maybe something's going to happen after this, but this definitely does ends this arc. Now, whether it goes into something else, we don't know. But yeah, it's good. Like I said, it's a good book, but they do tend to wrap up their arcs fairly clean in this. This one is probably as clean as it was going to get, outside of just completing an action that that was going to happen after you saw the last couple of pages.
Gotcha.
But yeah, good book. The part of Batman's plan that didn't kind of make any sense, especially dealing with a couple of the people that he saved, because of the nature of their powers, kind of. But we're just gonna overlook that.
Alrighty. Okay, so let's see. Where else can we go from here? Tim. Mighty Thor 701.
Pretty good.
Yeah, this was a knockdown, drag out. Definitely not quite what's on the cover, but it's definitely a teaser for what does happen in the book.
It ended about as well as I thought it would end. Terribly for the War Thor.
Yes. And I'll be honest, I don't remember that many issues with Mangog. Mangog is the the primary villain in this issue, and I'm not all that familiar with the character. We are filled in more than once by Jason Aaron as to what the story is behind this character. You don't need to have any pre-existing information on this character to enjoy, and to understand what Mangog is and what his motivation is. The art by the guest artist James Harron is a little hit and miss on the characters that are not Mangog. I felt like he had a very good grasp of what, of how to draw a Mangog, but it was some of the other characters that didn't quite, look their parts, in some instances. But I thought that his Mangog was pretty, was pretty together every time he put him on the page.
I wasn't familiar with Mangog either, but I mean, Aaron pretty much spelled it out. He's the embodiment of billions of lives,
right,
wiped out by gods,
right.
Most notably Odin.
Exactly, and specifically Odin.
Specifically.
So there's a couple of side plots that are going on. The War of the Realms is still going on in the background. That's touched upon during a couple of scenes in the book as Mangog and the War Thor, who, mild spoiler alert, because it has been a couple of months since this was revealed, but I'll ring the bell. So the War Thor, aka Volstagg, wielding the hammer of Ultimate Thor, puts up a pretty impressive fight against Mangog, and it lasts pretty much the whole issue. And it's a real knockdown. What would Jim Ross call it? A slobber knocker.
Slobber knocker.
Yes, it's a.
But I even knew that.
So, shout out to fans of WWF/WWE. And there's definitely a back and forth aspect to the battle. Volstagg gives pretty much as good as it gets, but ultimately it's not enough. Surprisingly not enough, to be honest.
Yep. And he loses his weapon
In a surprising move.
kind of easily
Yeah,
disposed of.
definitely, definitely. And we see the reappearance of some characters who I guess that we haven't seen for a while. I don't even have to ring the spoiler bell on this. I don't remember the last time we saw Balder the Brave.
Yeah, I feel like he showed up maybe 10 issues ago or so.
Okay. Maybe I just don't remember. I was like, wow, where has Balder been? I can't
I
believe.
know he was now made the keeper of the gates for hell or whatever he is. He's not the ruler of hell, but he
Right.
commands the army of the dead.
I got to go back and read that then because I could not, for the life of me, remember when this happened. So
I'm just saying, in this issue, that's what he explains himself as.
yeah.
So
But in terms of like how he's been here, I guess forever. How long? So that's what that's what struck me because it seemed like it's been so long since we had seen Balder in the pages of Thor. So this was a lot of fun. It is definitely a knock, it's a slobber knocker, and that's the primary draw of this book. There is an appearance by Malekith in the book. We may or may not have seen, probably not the last of Volstagg, but we will see. And Mangog is on his way to look for Asgardians, who he, I believe, finds in the next issue. If we're to believe, actually, no, in a couple issues, if we're to believe the solicitation covers.
Yes.
So lots of fun, great issue, potential click of the week for me.
Do you want to rapid fire it now, or?
Yeah. We'll rapid fire because we've gone in depth on a bunch of books already.
Cool. Who wants to go first?
Well, you and I, Tim, have a lot of the same books.
Okay.
So let's try to do rapid reviews on like all these Marvel books that we both read. Let's start at the top. Amazing Spider-Man number 791.
Yes, I like this issue. It's kind of a standalone, but yet some major developments.
Right. It's a nice standalone because we do get some resolution in the issue, and there's actually a reappearance of an old Thor enemy, and I was like, I don't remember this character, but I actually own, I believe, this character's first appearance, a real minor character, but it's the first outing of Peter Parker as the new science editor of the Daily Bugle, and of course everything goes to hell.
Yes, but he does get his article out.
That's right. Take it from Tim Dog. That's Tim Dog right there, the journalist, the comic journalist, and he does get his article out. So,
but just comes at the expense of his girlfriend,
right?
Her current job.
So, there is that. That's a nice that's a nice story to tell. We also find out that Alchemax, we may be moving very quickly towards the 2099 future because Alchemax makes another acquisition directly due to the events of this issue.
Yeah, and Spider-Man 2099 had been sort of fighting against that, I know, at least early in its run, or one of its volumes under Peter David.
Exactly. So it's interesting to see that that Slott is taking that story and moving that forward as well. And I just wanted to ask you real quick, how do you like the way that Slott is writing Mockingbird and Parker's relationship right now?
I'm enjoying it. Count me a fan, and it seems so natural.
Agreed.
These two.
Agreed.
And again, another assignment of mine for the weekend is to write about that.
Nice.
He's no Clint Barton.
What?
So he's no Clint Barton, but who is?
Both of them are unsuccessful in their relationship, so
kind of schlubby. Yeah,
they have that going for them.
Exactly. But at the end, but ultimately, the what they have in common is that they're both science. They're both science geeks. Scientists. And that's an interesting thing. It's an interesting thing to have in common for these two characters. It's not just the job.
And something else I'll touch on is, at least now, Peter's with someone that's his equal as far as superheroing goes, so he doesn't have to worry about putting his significant other in danger,
right?
Because of his second life
I
as
should probably
Spider-Man.
because I like those two characters together.
Hmm?
I said I should probably read this. I like those two characters together.
Yeah,
It's a lot of fun right
I've
now.
liked it since I guess this started in All New, All Different Marvel, I think, because Mockingbird was Peter Parker's Shield liaison.
Right.
She got the new costume design, which I like.
Exactly. With giving her the additional capabilities so that she's not just like earthbound with battle staves. So
Yeah, she can fly like a mockingbird.
exactly. So yeah, so this was another fun issue. Let's see what else we can touch on in rapid fire very quickly. Guardians we did. Did you read Incredible Hulk 710?
No.
Okay.
What about Spider-Man 2 number 4?
Oh, okay. Spider-Man 2. Let's do that.
So this is the penultimate, how you say it, penultimate issue? Penultimate issue?
Yeah. That's it.
Second to last.
Yep.
So I'm something confused me. So this Miles,
He's so.
I
was about to say, Tim Dog was so passionate about what he was confused by. He knocked his headphones out. He was all like, "Man, Bendis is killing me in this," and we're getting, good riddance. No, I'm kidding.
So Miles of the 616 universe lost his girlfriend, wife, whoever, Barbara Sanchez, I think her name was. She's dead. Wilson Fisk gives him a speech about alternate realities and alternate dimensions where there could be hundreds of Barbaras out there and she's still alive, yada, yada, yada. But then Miles of the Ultimate Universe, who's now in the Marvel Prime universe, along with the other Miles, is currently involved with a teenage Barbara Sanchez. Well, at least his girlfriend's name is Barbara. I'm assuming it's supposed to be like the other version of the other Miles's significant other.
Right.
But that doesn't make sense unless she was pulled over from the Ultimate Universe as well. Is that what they're trying to imply?
Possibly.
Okay.
Possibly. Like I would say that Miles's entire life was kind of ported over in that sense because Gonk,
okay, yeah, because he has four characters of Gonki. Right.
So
okay.
Because that's not Ned Leeds, right? Oh no.
That'd be from another universe.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, okay, so that makes more sense now.
Right. That's what I suspect basically happened with Miles's continuity in his story. So the story's moving along. I wasn't a fan of that. I thought that was way too much for the Kingpin to talk about with.
Yeah, it did kind of seem odd for him to be given that speech.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you know what? I'd talk to, I can only imagine, if I could do Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin, right? I can imagine him saying, I've seen other worlds. All these scientists showed me, these other worlds where my Vanessa is still alive and doing well. And I'm like, come on, man. Seriously?
Yep.
So, that being the case, we finally close the circle on the story in that we have reached the point that we are at the beginning of this 5-issue story where Spidey and Miles are unmasked and tied up. And we do get to that point. So
yeah, we're back to where we began in the first issue.
Right.
I have no idea what the resolution for this is going to be in the final issue.
It's kind of like the first one where, it's just them, working together. We don't really have a resolution to a story.
The other Miles is still going to be left out there in the wild, I guess.
Right.
As a potential foe for young Miles, maybe.
Right. Maybe he'll be like Jigsaw 2, or something.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. So, But I really don't know if we're going to have any kind of resolution in this. I'm uncomfortable that there's two Taskmasters running around. Let's be honest.
That's another thing. Is that looks he physically looks like the Taskmaster of the Ultimate Universe, but Spider-Man, white Peter Parker calls him the Taskmaster and recognizes him as the Taskmaster. So, yeah, is he the Ultimate Taskmaster or?
I think so. I think so because the regular Taskmaster is running around in his old costume.
I guess.
Because we've seen him in like.
Yeah, I've seen him in stuff. He was in Secret Empire.
Right. This guy, I'm fairly certain if
he wasn't like jacked up like this guy is.
I was about to say, I'm fairly certain if we go back to the first issue in this, I think it's this ultimate Taskmaster that's crossing over into this universe.
This guy's hitting the weights.
Yeah, I guess. And somehow they all survive Secret Wars. So let's not get into that. All right. Let's see. So that I think covers the crossovers that we got, right? You got anything that you want to talk about, like Defenders?
I mean, yeah, I can do Defenders right quick. Daredevil's back in his red outfit because I guess of events in his solo book and also being Marvel Legacy, got put characters back in their legacy outfits. But there's a kick-ass 5-page, I think 30-something plus panel fight scene between Elektra and Iron Fist that's worth the cost of admission.
Nice.
Bam.
Nice. All righty. And I think I've only got a few other Marvel books to discuss that Tim didn't have. I don't think Roddy had these. So Incredible Hulk number 710. It's Amadeus Cho on Sakaar. And there are obvious callbacks that Greg Pak installs to the original Planet Hulk storyline, and it's an updated version with the consequences of the previous Planet Hulk storyline. So it's a lot of fun. We are still delving deep into the psyche of Amadeus and how he's dealing with the realization that the monster is something that he can't always control and can't always keep bottled up. So that's worth reading. That's what makes this continually be worth reading. Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man number 297. There is direct aftermath of the big reveal that we discussed in the last issue. I don't want to spoil it just in case people are behind on this, but Spidey does reveal his secret identity to someone who you would never expect him to do it with. And the secret agents that have been was it the Gray Blade, I think they're called, the agents who are after Peter Parker's erstwhile not quite sister Teresa basically get the drop on him, and an unexpected character comes and pulls Spidey's butt out of the fire. So there's lots of action in this issue, really creative applications of Spidey's powers. You'd never would think to see Spidey do some of the things that he actually does in this issue. So it's interesting, and it's pretty fun just to see that. It's a surprisingly fun read. Again, based off of the previous issue and what what's revealed in that, what happens in that. It's worth keeping up with this right now. And The Punisher 218. That's the last thing I read. Roddy, you didn't read this either, right?
Nope.
All right. Very quickly, Nick Fury approaches the Punisher with an offer. He needs Frank Castle's help. The art in this suspiciously resembles one Shane from The Walking Dead. That is a joke. Shout out to the Netflix Punisher that's already dropped, and I guess we'll be watching it over the weekend. And basically, Nick Fury Jr. approaches the Punisher with an offer to work for him, not for S.H.I.E.L.D. because S.H.I.E.L.D. is gone away, but what he gets is an armor. It's not quite the War Machine armor based off of the art, but that's what it's meant to resemble. So we go from there. You want to knock them out, Roddy, or do you want me to finish?
No, I got it. So I only got 3. First one, Secret Warriors number 8. This book continues to be fun, but what we have here is so the team is pretty much back together. Sans Karnak, who's off working for his cousin, whatever, Black Bolt's son, something like, I don't know. Regardless, while the team is looking for Inferno's niece, who got kidnapped by presumably Dark Beast. We also find out that apparently superheroes have a forum board because Lunella goes on there, and well, Lunella and apparently Kamala both know about this, and doesn't seem to be anybody else though. So that part was kind of funny. But through this message board, they end up getting the services of Magic, who comes and helps them out after a little kerfuffle, and pointing them around, trying to find out, to try to get some leads on where to find Inferno's niece. So the cover's a little bit misleading because nothing real crazy outside that happened. They're just basically running around. But what ends up happening is looks like it's going to lead them back into the company or the graces of Karnak, because one of their leads ends up being the company that Karnak works for. And like I said, he's over on the other side. He seems to be watching them. It's not quite sure, but I feel like we're going to find out what's going to happen with that. And he may or may not have had a hand in sending them their way. I'm not sure about that, but that's pretty much just this whole book. Like I said, the book still ends up being funny. I wasn't sure whether we were going to go after that first arc, but now that they're going into this other arc, and that looks like going to be involving Mr. Sinister, who doesn't appear in this book, however, is on the cover. So, and I believe that cover is an homage to an Agents of not Nick Fury book or something. I can't remember. But regardless of that, that's that. And now we are on to the Star Wars corner of the universe with Darth Vader number 8, in which we find Darth Vader on Coruscant at the old Jedi archives. Looking for something. Well, he's looking for someone, but he's also pillaging the archive to get all the knowledge and whatnot out of it. At the same time, one Jedi, Jocasta Nu, is there sneaking around to get a piece of information that once again may come up somewhere. And spoiler alert, the info she has is a list of all the force sensitive children that they knew about before things broke out and went crazy. So she has that, but she also has had this, but she also finds the Grand Inquisitor, whose mission was to read all of the Jedi archives there, but she passes them one time, but the second time she tries to get out of there, she just couldn't shake it, because you do not come between Jocasta Nu and her books, and he apparently disrespected one of them by throwing them out. So, which causes her to get into battle with him, which means that she's probably going to get into battle with not only him, but probably Vader, who was actually looking for her to save her, which is his mission, unbeknownst to the rest of the Inquisitors. So that's that. Star Wars Dr. Aphra number 14. We have an Imperial officer by the name of Magna Tolvan, who ran into Aphra one time and got demoted because of the actions, who ends up at this communications node under this other person. And we kind of find out that she has history. We're not quite really sure what with, funnily enough, another Imperial officer that I'm going to assume trained her or was a mentor to her. But this Imperial officer is no longer around because Vader got rid of them in the first volume of Darth Vader. So, but we see a picture of him, and she's asking him for guidance because she's kind of sick of where she is because of her demotion and whatever. But Aphra and the crew that she's running with now ends up being at this base, and Afra gets the drop on Torvald again, and they chit chat for a little bit, and actually gets a little flirty with her to a point. Until the mission's over, they leave, and the base is promptly blown up. Sadly, unbeknownst to Afra, who doesn't like to kill and whatnot, but she didn't know about that part, and she's also under the employ of the previously freed killer droids that she had no choice but to free from her service. So she is being forced to do things that she wasn't not too crazy about, which kind of puts her in the same situation as this Imperial officer that I just mentioned. So that's probably going to be mentioned again at some point and come up again. But overall, still a good book. That is it for the Star Wars corner. And my last book, which is pretty much, I just skimmed through, so I can't really say too much about it, but Not Brand-Ek number 14, which is like this issue for Not Brand-Ek, which was a parody comic from back in the day, starring Fort Bushman, the greatest hero of the Marvel Universe in his own mind. But it's cool. It's got some nice little it's got a couple of comedy stories in there, but one involving Hydra Cap. And of course, rebranding from the ages. I think there's some other Fort Bushman stuff that they yuck it about, but it's cool if you are of a certain vintage and recognize that book. So
cool. I just had one non-Big Two book to mention. Mech Det U number 4 continues to be a fun story. It's this is the creator-owned book by Greg Pak with art by Takeshi Miyazawa. And in this issue, the cadets who the youngest cadets, the next class of trainees who are basically just out on a training run and don't even have live ammo, basically run into the Sharg. These are the aliens that they're being trained to fight, and they have to, they basically hold their own. And it's a lot of great moments, lots of great art. It's a spectacle. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend this book. It's actually pretty much all ages friendly. So you can actually hand something like this to someone who's, a slightly younger reader, and they should be able to get by. It's not too scary. The art is kid friendly. So I definitely think this is, one of those books that you can hand to. It may not be in trade paperback form yet for Christmas. I'm not sure if that's going to be a possible gift for people to give, but I would highly recommend it for all ages reading. And now it looks like we are up to Clicks of the Week. Alrighty, people. It's time to make our determinations. This is going to be tough. I actually have a couple of really tough choices to choose. Tough choices to make.
Mine is going to be Amazing Spider-Man 791.
Nice. That's definitely a candidate for me too. Man, I really like this Peter Parker though. Roddy, what do you got? Do you still need time?
Kinda.
All right, so I have to make a decision, and I think I'm gonna go with Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man number 297. I love that the two books I'm pretty much choosing between, with Thor being a close third, are Amazing Spidey 791 and Peter Parker, Spectacular Spider-Man 297. There's another couple of movies that I thought of when I was reading this great book. It's The Raid and also The Professional with Jean-Paul Reno and Natalie
Portman.
Yeah, Natalie Portman, pre Star Wars. So there's a couple of scenes in this that directly reminded me of those movies. So it's a lot of fun. It's not too late to jump on Spectacular Spider-Man.
And for me, I will go with. I'll just go with Secret Warriors #8. Like I said, it was a fun book. Not terribly much happened outside of them running around and whatnot, but it was still a fun book. So go with that.
All righty. So let me get through our first ad read of the night and give Roddy some time to get set up for the news. Let me tell you about Skull Candy. Skull Candy makes the best headphones, earbuds, and gaming headsets, all with lifetime warranties. Skull Candy produces many types of audio accessories, including headphones, sports earbuds, Xbox gaming headsets, PlayStation gaming headsets, DJ headphones, and iPod and MP3 headphones. And now, for the listeners of the KLIQ Nation's comic book Chronicles, Skull Candy offers free standard shipping on your order. To help keep our podcasts free, order from Skull Candy by going to cspn.us. That's cspn.us. Then click on the Keep Our Podcast Free link. Click on the Skull Candy banner and then shop for high-quality audio accessories with free standard shipping. Skull Candy Audio through cspn.us. Do it today.
The secret to me setting up the news is doing it while you're either talking or setting it up beforehand. So
nice. And I guess we should just let everyone know that we're going to hold off on discussing the Justice League movie.
Oh,
all right. Did you want to do it tonight? Because I wanted to get Tim's perspective on this. I personally wanted shout out to PCN_Dirt. I know he's not going to be the person who is going to run out opening night to go see this movie, but you know, this is up his alley. I really wanted to get his feedback on this, so hopefully he gets a chance to see it before next week. You know, I guess we'll do a Black Friday show next week.
You know what? I just thought about something because I don't want, because the thing I wanted to mention is something that's been kind of going around on Twitter, and that I agree with. That's a little slightly off-putting, and I don't want to. And I want to see if Tim sees it, if he hasn't already seen it on Twitter or whatnot.
Seen what?
Don't worry about it. Just when you watch the movie, we'll see what.
Oh, okay. Something with the movie. Got it.
Right. So we're holding off, so there's no need to worry about us spoiling it. I'm dying to talk about this because, you know, I don't know why. It just
there's reasons why.
Yeah.
I'm good for bad.
Yeah, know. pretty much. So here we go with the news.
So the news is probably going to be filled, the cinematic news is going to be filled with nothing but Justice League.
Well,
Justice League, and some other things.
I wish that was the case, because I will go ahead and say this right now. We're kind of starting off slightly where we ended on last week's show, going into a couple of these, but yeah, you'll find
all
out.
the tabs open.
Yeah.
Affleck wants to find a graceful and cool way to seg out of Batman. Segway.
Yeah. So he was talking and blah blah blah. Sure.
So he put that on record?
Huh?
He actually put that on record? Wow.
He's not going to be in. If he may do the Batman, but that may be the last thing he does. I think.
So that is part of the next. Thing. But he did say it is, quote, "It's something I'm contemplating. You don't do it forever, so I want to find a graceful and cool way to segue out of it." End quote.
Well, if this was like a Marvel style contract, technically he would have done 3 movies once he does the solo movie.
I mean, he's not a young man in a way. He can't, he's
no, but you know what I mean. Like normally it's like a 3 or 6 picture deal. So if it's a 3 picture, deal,
like Sebastian Stan, who has like a 9 picture deal.
Yeah, because I think they're anticipating following that Cap story all the way through. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So. And at some point, I guess Anthony Mackie will be re-upped with something long-term also, if that's what they're going to do.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out in a little bit. But next.
Ben Affleck is certainly planning to star in the Batman.
So apparently there's been brouhaha whether that's going to be the case or not. And somebody who's speaking for... this is yeah. So the producer is saying that there might he might not be in Matt Reeves' movie. I think there's rumor that Matt Reeves don't want him for the movie, and of course, Affleck may or may not want to be in the movie, but it sounds like it might be the case. I know there's rumors abound about this thing, and we don't know anything too definite. So,
Man of Steel, Aquaman fan theory confirmed by Jason Momoa.
yeah,
That theory is that he had something to do with a scene in Man of Steel with, was it whales rescuing?
So near the beginning of Man of Steel, Clark
He's on Deadliest Catch.
yeah, he saved some fishermen he saved some people on a oil rig or something.
Yeah,
or boat. I can't remember. So
once he's done being on Deadliest Catch.
Yeah, exactly. As you know, and it is presumed that Aquaman saved him or helped him.
It gives him a helping hand with
Yes.
whales, talking to the fishes and all that.
After he disappears, or at the time that he disappears after that scene.
Right.
So, which they never mind. That's because that's going to go into Justice League. So never mind. Keep it pushing.
Moving on.
I mean, it's not a big part, but yeah.
Doom Patrol may join DC's Titans TV series.
I don't know why, but okay.
Oh, it makes sense because they're related to Beast Boy.
Well, so this article goes into that because the guy who plays Beast Boy, apparently talked to Jeff Johns about Beast Boy, and Jeff Johns says something about his Twitter, if you can see on the video. My pleasure to talk about all things Beast Boy, Green Tigers, Doom Patrol, and Halo, which has nothing to do with Beast Boy, as far as I know. Unless he's
referring to the Batman and the Outsiders character.
Maybe.
That's a deep cut right there, people.
More than likely, but it is presumed that this was a conversation about Beast Boy's character and his, where he's been and whatnot, and not necessarily anything Doom related as far as being a project. But we don't know.
Spoilers. Legends of Tomorrow drops major reference to Wonder Woman mythology.
Yep.
They mentioned Themyscira.
They do.
Supergirl just teased a direct connection to Smallville's continuity.
So apparently there was a character, if you know Smallville, there's a character of Chloe who shows up there, and they make a reference to her on a recent episode.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
And Chloe I guess it's worth noting that Chloe has never, maybe shown up in the comics like once or twice.
She doesn't show up in person. Okay.
Right. So,
Flash, Supergirl showrunner suspended over sexual harassment allegations.
Yeah, there's going to be a few of these, unfortunately. So,
Melissa Benoist and Emily Bet Rickards respond to Kreisberg allegations. There's a report that Gal Gadot will not reprise her role as Wonder Woman unless Warner Brothers removes Brett Ratner.
So that'll be a shame if she does, but good for her for sticking to her guns, because it is also worth noting that Brett Ratner has his production company, I believe, has something to do with Justice League, so he's going to get his money one way or the other, sadly. I think going back to the Kreisberg thing, I think he has been suspended, but that doesn't mean he's been terminated. So that's something that should be noted, because he's probably still going to get some money until they actually deal with that.
Ellen Page recounts abuse by Brett Ratner on X-Men Last Stand set.
Apparently tore him a new one during her recounting of said event, which she's known for being quite outspoken. So
X-Men Last Stands and the Paquin corroborated Page's harassment by Ratner.
Which again, which going back to the Wonder Woman thing, also because of all the other allegations coming out, this was the catalyst. These two were the catalyst for her to say her stance.
Star Trek star George Takei accused of sexual assault.
Which is sad, but I'm sure there's somebody out there who's happy for this.
Did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. just tease The Brood in season 5's first trailer?
In lighter news,
well, oh no, it's going to get back there later on. But so this was, I still hadn't seen this trailer, but I was like, not quite sure.
They look like The Brood. I'll say that.
Yeah, so we don't fully know what the deal is on that. Which I thought X-Men were. I mean, I thought that was a specific X-Men thing. Although I know they have the Avengers or whoever, and they've battled other people outside of the X-Men. So, sure.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. Walton Goggins announced his last day of filming.
Cool.
Thor Ragnarok originally had Hela destroy a different Asgardian artifact.
And that artifact, which apparently was the Destroyer, but they cut it out because it wasn't necessary.
Yeah, no one would have cared.
Yeah.
Sony working on Spider-Man spin-off movie for Morbius the Living Vampire.
Why?
Wait, there's a sound effect for this.
I mean, unless Blade ends up coming off of that some kind of way, then I don't care.
I don't think Sony has the rights.
I don't think so either, because I think that Marvel's got those back or still had them, whatever. Yeah.
I think so too.
There's a report that Marvel and Fox are still considering the acquisition deal that would bring characters back to the MCU.
I mean, fart is still justified. That's
the first episode of Robert Kirkman's Secret History of Comics is online for free.
Actually, the first couple at this point, because this was last Friday, I believe, when this came out or something. No, it wasn't even Friday. I can't remember what, but it came out. The first one came out last week, and the second episode is out also.
Yeah, I watched the first episode of the Marvel story.
I hear it was all right.
It was all right. I mean, I'm familiar with a lot of it, having read the book, The Secret History. So, and that author was also on the show. So, they definitely filled in a lot of gaps people might have in their understanding of the history of the Marvel, the founding of the Marvel universe.
And apparently, the next one's going to be about Superman, and the second episode is about Wonder Woman. Sure,
I think so. Yeah, I think the second episode is Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
The Incredibles 2 trailer is coming soon, aka tomorrow, probably.
That's pretty cool.
I didn't put it in the lineup, but I knew. your title for this was amusing, sort of.
I wish I could say I came up with it, but I never come up with the headlines majority of the time.
Gotcha.
But yes, it was clever. I was like, oh, okay.
It was funny how he spelled it out. It was like, okay, yeah.
There's a report that the Bumblebee movie just got a new title and a cool 80s logo.
Yeah, we got a screenshot of some screen. We don't know if this is the actual name of it or not, but this just so happened to popped up on somebody's Instagram.
You know, it's gotta be like Transformers Bumblebee the movie.
Right. Something a little more than that.
Transformers gotta be in the name somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Umbrella Academy TV series casts Ellen Page.
So Umbrella Academy is a comic by Gerard Way and Gabriel Ba. Is it Ba?
Yes. Sure. I have the first trade of it that I haven't read because I bought it at a discounted price at a convention a couple years ago.
Always good. But yeah, there is that. I'm not too...
Did you have the news about the cast reveal for Deadly Class? Or was that last week?
Yes. I think we did that last week, though.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah, we did that last week, actually.
That just jogged my memory.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We had the first Deadpool 2 teaser.
Oh, my God.
That was
a poster
awesome.
from last week that didn't pull. That was like a Thanksgiving themed, but
yeah, you needed to. There's a certain vintage of people out there because some people are not old enough to remember who Bob Ross was.
Unless they're on Twitch, because apparently there's a Bob Ross channel that shows a lot of his old shows.
I forgot. I didn't know his name, but I know of the character, the guy.
So I mean, I've watched Bob Ross shows, before, like on some like rainy summer day or something. Like you flip
Oh,
on, yes,
like 6 o'clock in the morning on a nondescript Saturday, Friday, or Saturday, Sunday morning, and be like, ain't nothing else on. Well, I mean, now anyway.
Right. No, but even in like an afternoon, like I said, like a rainy, I honestly remember, like, even in as late as high school, like on a rainy weekend afternoon, be like, you know what, it's not worth, killing yourself to go outside, see what's on the television. Oh, look, there's Bob Ross. So,
Yeah. Happy little trees.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. He's a snow cap right here. Oh my goodness. That's
Yeah, like I said, if you're on Twitch, there's a Bob Ross channel. Go check that out if you're so inclined.
There you go.
Black Lightning gets January premiere date.
Yep. So yeah, this Entertainment Infinite Earth article basically lines up that, and let me see, it's going to be on Tuesday, specifically Tuesday, January 16th is the premiere, and they also show the schedules for the other CW shows, which apparently something's moving. Yeah, Legends of Tomorrow looks like it's moving, but don't know what day and time yet. So we should start changing the CW to the comics network or something.
Pretty much.
So.
And Arrow just included a sneaky DC video game Easter egg.
So apparently on a recent episode of Arrow, there's I think it says here that Felicity and I think William, who's Oliver's kid, are playing Injustice 2 or Injustice. Well, it sounds like Injustice 2 because they mentioned a specific board. So that's interesting bit of synergy.
And
which I'll get to these because like I said, I didn't tell you guys this on the back.
Oh, the spillover?
Yeah.
I see the tab for it.
Yeah. Well, the tab is always there. I just don't always put stuff in there unless needed.
Okay.
That being the case, because if you don't see anything at the bottom, that's a little inside baseball, whatever. Danger Girl in development for film and TV. So the J. Scott Campbell, I guess that's creator owned, and it's going to get a movie and possibly a TV deal. Well, one or the other. So, sure. Let's see. Fox's The Gifted cast Scream Queens alum as mysterious telepath, and that person is Skylar Samuels. Don't know that person, so okay.
Okay.
Let's see. Supergirl's Alex details role in Arrowverse crossover, which is soon to be coming. Crisis on Earth X. So Skylar Lee is basically talking about what she's sound like she and Supergirl are the only ones that's going to be in the crossover from their Earth. So Avengers Infinity War trailer may arrive in early December.
Just very quickly on this, I'm not 100% sure why everyone's dying to see this, because we all know they're going to drop it right around Star Wars, because that's going to be the trailer that hits when you're watching Star Wars.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's news. Some people are whatever.
Yeah. People are jumping up and down.
Supposedly it's going to be like the beginning of December to coincide to go along with Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm. I mean, which, like I said, again, only makes sense. So now we're done with the cinematic news.
All right. So comic book news and video games, apparently.
Speaking of Injustice 2, yeah. The
Fighter Pack 3 for Injustice 2 has been announced.
And it is, get this, folks, the Atom, Enchantress, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
The Teenage Mutant
Which if you look
at a half shell.
Yeah, basically. So if you looked at the real quick, if you look at the screen for the characters, which by the way, Hellboy just came out this past week, so there's that, and I think there's 3 other character spots that are empty. So I guess now we know which ones they are. Although I don't know whether the turtles are going to fit them. fit in on that one because we knew about the Atom. That one was kind of a giveaway. We wasn't sure about the other two from this new pack, but now we know. And it sounds like the turtles might be a character, but they'll switch out or something. But we don't necessarily know that just yet. And I think, yeah, we'll just leave it at that. We'll see soon though, because those will be coming out starting next month. Starting with the Atom, actually. Let's see. Canceled Justice League Mortal game would have drawn from the DCAU, which sounds like they would have made a Justice League Mortal Kombat game.
Mortal Kombat!
But was canceled. For all accounts, sounded like it was pretty cool, though. Or it could have been. So
You said it was canceled?
Yeah, it was canceled. It didn't never see the light of day. Yeah, apparently it was unearthed recently that it was going to be a thing, which that happens at times. Lego Marvel's Super Heroes 2 launch trailer teases 200 plus characters, which that game is out now for your perusal. Haven't heard anything on it, but it's a Lego Marvel game, so it's probably all right. Oh, there was another. I don't think I put it in the lineup, but I wanted to bring up real quick. Apparently, Marvel Heroes is going to get shut down because Disney canceled its relationship with Gazillion Entertainment, who made the game, and that is sad because for the last 2-3, probably a good month actually, there's been not much said from the developers, like no new updates or not much, because you would think it's Thor Ragnarok came out and there was no update to with an event or something like that, so people were rightfully worried that something was going on behind the scenes, and we now just found out that's what it was. So that's sad, and it sounds like the 31st of December is going to be, well, it's going to shut down around that time. Let's see. Sanford Brown and Chuck Brown's webcomic 1000 is live. It is actually this was from last week, but I think somehow it didn't stay in the lineup like I had it. But like I said, Sanford Green and Chuck Brown did a webcomic. It is out there now. You should go check it out. It's, as the description says, set in a modern world of aliens, warlocks, and zombies, and ancient beasts. 1000 follows Dragon's son, a supreme entity who's abandoned all creation as he struggles to return to his true dragon form by completing 1000 acts of repentance, hence the name. It seems cool so far. There's a nice trailer that I know Sanford Green had
yeah, I saw that trailer.
Yeah, had retweeted earlier today. So that's it. Go check that out. It seems pretty cool. Actually I didn't read it because I started reading. I said I'm gonna come back to this.
And you forgot.
Yeah. Well, it was a couple of days ago, so which I think it comes out every Thursday because from what it's, yeah, there you go. It says every Thursday. So it's up on webtoons.com and you can subscribe to it so you'll get notified. So and now we're back to this. If anybody wants to take over.
DC Comics has suspended editor Eddie Berganza amidst allegations of sexual harassment,
Which
quickly followed by terminating editor Eddie Berganza.
Mm-hmm. After which we mentioned whether this was going to happen last week, or the possibility of it happened last week anyway. And after the BuzzFeed, well, seemingly after the BuzzFeed article that we talked about last week, that's where the speculation came out. But again, as we said, it's good that they're doing this now, but it's been a long time, and he's been there a long time, and these allegations are not new. So,
Right.
But good that he finally did it. And and there was a lot of buzz about before the termination thing came out of that. Again, suspension doesn't mean termination. So he, was basically still getting some money from them. But now he's been terminated. So there you go.
Marvel hires Ron Richards as VP, managing editor of new media.
who apparently, if apparently people were replying to this on Twitter, apparently he has had some allegations against him also from when he was at Image, which we don't know if this, I don't know anyway what happened, but he left Image, and some are saying that he left because there were some allegations of misconduct, sexual misconduct because of this. So
he also founded iFanboy.
Yes, he's also that, prior to Image. So
Danny Kazim is promoted to editor at Valiant. IDW Publishing announces publishing and editorial staff changes. Atso Alonso out. CB Cebulski in as Marvel editor-in-chief.
This dropped today. This is some huge stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't know why. I'm hoping it has nothing to do with any allegations that
you know what? Yeah, you know what? My mind did not go there first. You know,
mine did.
Yeah,
not at first, but it like maybe third or fourth that went there.
Because there have been times in the past where it's like, well, there are people who've been like, "Oh, are you gonna?"
I think
know this is going on. Are you going to leave now and not have this come out, or whatever?
I think it just came down to he's had too many public misfires, and
I thought, I was actually personally worried that it was, kind of, based on, like related to what Tim Dog was just saying, kind of like lately there's been a lot of some kind of like PR gaffes, and unfortunately, maybe the market hasn't been performing as well. The Marvel books haven't been performing as well because of the the focus on these newer legacy characters. And as much as I love the hip hop covers, I know that the retailers did not like the ordering scheme on that, and we talked about that before, and that was they felt taken advantage of in that regard, and that all happened under Alonso's watch.
Yeah, but I continue to refuse to believe that the legacy books are the ones that's killing or due to the low sales or whatever. And again, it should be pointed out that we know nothing about why he's leaving. So anything we've been saying so far, it's
exactly.
just
speculation.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with legacy right now. It's just things in the past, like the publishing initiatives haven't worked, too many events.
Right.
It's time for a change.
So yeah. Whether CB is going to be any better, who knows?
You get a first look at Marvel's Thrawn prequel comic book series for Star Wars.
Well, I was going to bring up that real quick that there's been other hirings and promotions at Marvel and other places in the past month or so that I don't think we ever got to, including Lorraine Sink, who is at Marvel and going to be.
She was already at Marvel and got.
Right, but I'm saying she's got a
full-time job.
Right, as a senior creative producer, and Alex Guerra is also on the new co-president of Archie, and there's been other people throughout the month, but yeah, that's it.
We got the rundown of Jean Grey's full X-Men Red Team, and it's going to have an all-new mutant on it.
So going back to the Thrawn book real quick. Sorry. So it's a prequel book, going back to his younger days of, I guess coming up through the Empire or whatnot, maybe even before that. Not sure who's writing it because I can't remember. Oh, wait. Luke Ross is going to be doing art. I'm not sure who's writing it, but regardless, that's the thing. But yeah, Jean Grey's other mutant book. we now got the roster for. So is this something you're interested in, Tim? I
forget the girl's name. The new, I think it's an Indian character. Tom Taylor tweeted who she was.
Trinary is her name, and apparently she's from India, and of course, now who is the person? Okay, I know the big dude at the top is Wakandan mutant, which I don't remember seeing. The last time I remember seeing them was when they had that book where all the schools were got together. But
I've never heard of that guy before.
Yeah, I think he was in that book, and and
looks familiar. Yeah.
And of course, we got Namor, Nightcrawler, Wolverine, X-23, and who is this other person?
Her twin sister, Gabby.
Mhm.
Okay.
There was two of them. She had two twins. One of them died in the beginning of all new X-Men, but I guess Gabby survived.
I know there was talk.
She's been raising. She's not raising her, but she's been watching over her.
Yeah, I know.
She's important.
Yeah, because I know in the recent, actually this week's Hawkeye, which I didn't quite read. I know them two were together, Wolverine and Kate Bishop, and I think there was talk of her. So that was my only other, whatever with her. Namor being the weird one in this lineup.
Yeah, no Emma Frost around, right?
Apparently not. Yeah, I don't know.
That was the last time Namor was running around with the X-Men. So
Marvel canceled Guardians of the Galaxy 151.
We kind of talked about that already.
Yep.
Marvel makes Wedding of the Century announcement.
It's not mine. Don't let Matt Wang 97 lead you astray.
Summer 2018.
Say it again.
Summer 2018.
There it is.
Yeah, so I wonder who's it going to be.
I wrote an article on that, so you can go speculate there.
Okay, there you go.
Get a first look at Marvel 2-in-1.
Hey, guess what? The art looks great.
It's Jim Chung.
Yeah. When does that come out? What does it say? Is there a release date on that? I don't see it.
December 13th.
When?
December 13th.
December 13th, people.
Oh, that's soon.
Mm-hmm.
Kinda, sorta.
A month.
Soonish.
Boom Studios' new Labyrinth comic will explore the Goblin King's origins.
When he was a baby or something like that. I don't even know.
This Beast Wars action figure does its best character justice.
There's a Dinobot character, y'all. Action figure, so go look out for that, Transformers fans.
Kotobukiya Spider-Man Web-Slinger art effect statue revealed. Funko Black Panther pop vinyls, Dorbs, and more up for order.
I feel like we might have talked about this with other Black Panther stuff, but I couldn't remember if we had or not, so I'll put those under that. And I've already ordered those.
Real life Thor builds a flying Mjolnir hammer that returns to him.
What?
Yeah, looks like it might be a drone.
Oh,
yeah,
in the shape of a hammer.
Still impressive.
Yeah,
they're cool. So speaking of Mjolnir,
Fight holds and fits the plumbing with this brilliant Thor Mjolnir hammer toolbox.
This is actually cool looking though. So it's a toolbox in the shape of Mjolnir. The handle, as you would expect, is a hammer, and the rest of the stuff is inside the the hammer part.
Yes.
So it's $100, but hey, still cool. I think Agent 70 might be ordering one right as we speak.
That's a thought.
All right. Oops.
Avengers No Surrenders next 4 covers confirm a big return. That being the Black Order. This fan-made Black Panther Thundercats crossover will punch you right into nostalgia.
So this is kind of cool. This is from Marcus Williams, aka Marcus the Visual, of the Tuskegee Airs book and other stuff. So yeah, he's been posting art that he's been doing the last couple of days of Black Panther and Panther or the Thundercats, and he also put out well, on the posters, I think you can also go to his page where you can buy this stuff. And I ordered one of the shirts from that because it was just cool.
Image's Dark Fang sinks its teeth into climate change concerns.
Don't know this book, but okay, sure.
And Marvel teases original Wolverine's return. More Infinity Stone revelations.
this kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier.
Alrighty.
That was it, because there was something in there's this Stephen Byrne did some art for the DC about the DC trilogy as teenagers, but that was in but it was cool looking stuff.
Yes.
And that's
And yes, at Matt Wang 97, we don't need like actual businesses involved in more shenanigans.
wait, what is he talking about? Never mind.
Oh, just take a look at the latest tweet.
You had an unboxing, right?
Yeah.
I do have well, not necessarily an unboxing, but yes. Sorry. Speaking of Kotobukiya, Kamala Khan finally showed up.
Nice.
Oh, there she is. So cute. And again, I don't have any space.
What is that?
The statue.
Huh?
Yeah, statue.
Mhm.
How many hundreds of dollars did that cost?
Oh.
Actually, it wasn't. It was like 40, 50. Like, no, wait. It's like 50, 60, excuse me, something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, these aren't like full-on statues. It's like a decent statue. There's like a snap-on piece, right?
Yes.
Because I know that's what the Kotobukiya Captain America one was like.
No, actually, I
Or
don't.
maybe it's a different style.
No, this is the from their Bishoju line, and the Bishoju line doesn't. It's just like one piece
Oh, okay.
mostly. Like that Spidey one, which is like $150 almost, is a little bit more, and they, it's them on the wall. But yeah, their Bishoju line is kind of just basically like, I would say mostly women, but I might be wrong about that. But most of the ones I've seen were for the women in certain poses. So, but yeah,
That's cool. That's cool.
and that was it.
All righty. So I guess we've reached the end of the news, and I guess we can talk about what we're going to do next week after I knock out the last ad read for the night. So let me pull up an ad. Go. Chugga chugga. Dum da dum dum da. This episode of the Click Nation's Comic Book Chronicles is sponsored by Busted Tees, your home for funny, awesome, cool t-shirts that are sure to get your friends' attention. Busted Tees puts many of their popular shirt designs on sale at a discount each week. Choose from several eye-catching t-shirts inspired by pop culture, cleverly themed t-shirts inspired by movies, video games, TV shows, comic books, geek culture, and much more are all on sale. To help keep our podcast free, order from Busted Tees by going to cspn.us. That's cspn.us. Then click on the Keep Our Podcast Free link. Click on the Busted Tees banner and then shop for awesome t-shirts. Busted Tees through cspn.us. Do it today.
Make sure to follow us on our individual Twitter accounts. I'm at TimDOGG98 and at CBCron. Roddy Cat is at Roddy Cat and at News Nerds Needs and at CBCaps on Instagram. Agent 70 is at Agent_70 on Twitter and Instagram. And as for next week, it's Thanksgiving week. We may or may not have a show.
Right.
We have to see what our schedules look like.
Yeah, it may be a Black Friday show, so we'll see.
Yes. I should be around, but that'll change because my in-laws will be here, so I have no idea what we'll be doing.
Right. We'll play this by ear, but we may have, in fact, a Black Friday show.
Yeah, tune into the Twitters. We'll let you know.
And with that, we are the Comic Book Chronicles, and we are signing off.
Peace.